How's it going, everyone? It's WilsonPlays here, and today I am back with another video, a completely different video here today. And the reason for that is we've got a bit of downtime. We're waiting for WilsonPlays Nightmare Mod Reloaded updates. I'm also in the process of planning out new content that's not quite ready to start recording and whatnot. So while we've got this downtime, I thought I'd make a little bit of an interesting video. Like, it might be interesting to you guys, I don't know. And that is, how exactly do I edit my videos? What do I do? What's the process to get them onto your screens pretty much every single day? So I'm not going to make this short and sweet and say, oh, this is the settings I use. Oh, blah, 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 that's it, done. I'm actually just going to run you through the process. Now, the process is quite simple. This is pretty basic. So please don't watch this and think this is the ultimate editing guide. It just isn't. But yeah, throwing it out there. Okay, so we're in Sony Vegas 14. I know this is a very old version of this program, but it's not caused me any real issues. So that's what I use. And we're going to use some existing gameplay. So this is Vice City Nightmare Mod Preview. Now, you may be wondering why my project file is called BY. The reason for that is this project file came from a video I did quite a long time ago on Assetto Corsa with the By Colin LMP1 car. And it's like, that's when I made the project file, and I just called it BY for By Colin, whatever, it doesn't matter. So I use the same project file every single time, and I'll get into why. So a bit later on. So the first thing I do is import my video that I just recorded. Now, Vegas usually builds the audio tracks and peaks and stuff like that, so it's not instantaneous, but I've already done it, so just to save a bit of time on the video. So what I do is I drop it in the timeline. And then here, what I do, first and foremost, is get rid of audio tracks that I don't need. Now, this is a little bit outdated, I believe, because... Oh, no, it's not. Sorry. No, it's not. But anyway, so I have multiple audio tracks, and a lot of them, and I'll explain why right now. So this, track number 2, I'm pointing. I don't know why. You can't actually see what I'm pointing at. But track number 2, just watch my cursor. This is combined audio, so desktop audio and microphone. Audio track number 3 is desktop audio, so the game audio. 4 is Discord, I believe. Or if it's not Discord, it might be my headset mic. It's one of them anyway. I think it's my headset mic, actually. Track number 5 is Discord. And then track number 6 is Yeti. So I have, when I'm recording with OBS, both mics are set up at all times. So it just depends which one I'm using. I mute one and leave the other, or vice versa, you know. So the first thing I do is I tidy up this. You know, I don't need all of this. So the combined track, I delete. So there might be a way of me not having a combined track, but I have one anyway. It's fine. So this purple one, I want to leave, because that's game audio. And this one I want to get rid of. Same with this one. And now I've just got game audio and mic audio. Now, the reason I record these separately, and it's great that OBS supports this so easily to set up. The reason I record this separately is because there could be a lot of imbalances between game audio and mic audio, even after you've tweaked it in OBS or the game or whatever. So with this, as you can see on my cursor, you know, there's the volume slider, so I can just go up and down on the game, up and down on the mic. It's absolutely fine. So that's the reason I do that. Okay. Next thing is I find where my intro is, first and foremost. So what I tend to do, and you can see this here, this isn't actually my intro. This is like me talking to myself, sort of going through my head what I'm about to say, as well as hyping myself up, getting ready for the video. Might be a weird thing to do. Maybe you guys do it as well. Any content creators out there that watch my channel, you might do the same thing. But that is actually what I do. I believe this here is actually me clearing my throat, probably. Actually, look at my face. That is me clearing my throat, 100%. So I find where the intro is. So is it here? Alright. 3, 2, 1. And then pause. So I count myself in. You know, it's a good thing to do. So this is the intro. I believe so. Unless I had multiple attempts at the intro. I don't think I did, but whatever. So I press the S key, which splits everything. And then I hit delete. So I don't need all that. I don't need the talking to myself bit. I just need the actual intro. So when I hit play, how's it going, everyone? It is WilsonPlays here, and today I have something very, very special for you guys. We're currently waiting for an up, and there you go. So that's the intro. Pretty basic. So then the next thing I do is I do this. So this is a fade in. So instead of the video just boom, starts, there's a fade in. So if I press play, how's it going, everyone? It is. You can see there's a slight fading. I only use like, I believe it's 10 milliseconds. I believe this is like measured in. It's not long at all, but it's enough to notice that there's a fade in. Pretty basic, I know. And then what I do is go to the end of the video, and then I get rid of this because, as you can see, it flatlines there. It means I'm not talking. So I hit S once again, and I snip that out. That bit that I snipped out is basically me, like, closing the game and then stopping the recording, that kind of thing. So as you can see, this is going to be me saying take care or something along those lines. Oh, my stream overlays here. This is actually a mistake I made. So I'll show you, like, rectifying that mistake. So what I actually did is I used OBS to display my members screen. Now, that wasn't very smart, because when I actually pressed the key to go back to the recording scene, it went to my streaming scene, which would have looked really messy. So what I actually did for this particular video is, let's find it. So you can see it's fading in now. So I'm going to go back a few frames to where it's completely invisible. So, like, let's say here. So now I just want to get rid of the video bit. So what I do is I hit U, which separates the video from the audio, and then hit S. And then I delete. So get rid of that. And then my mistake is rectified by actually bringing in my member graphic, which is there. This is the most up-to-date version, as you can see. Riley's there and stuff. Riley wasn't there when I was making this video, but whatever. So yeah, pull it to the end. And then, same as before, we add a fade out here. And we add also a fade in for the member screen and a fade out for the video. Okay, so that's pretty much done. And you might be wondering, that did not take you long at all. I mean, you've only been recording for 8 minutes and you've already edited your video. What gives? It may make you think that I don't actually put in as much time as I typically do. The reason for it is I've automated a lot of things. So one detail I missed is switches disable resampling. And the reason I disable resampling is I've been told in the past that it causes ghosting between the frames if you don't do it. So it's kind of like makes the video a bit more fluid if I actually hit that. If I'm wrong about any of this, if I'm using like technical terms, sound off in the comments. I would love to hear you guys' feedback and advice and whatnot. So that's the last thing I do. The reason it doesn't take so long, the reason it looks like it takes like 5 minutes to edit, is because of the project file. Like I explained, I have a particular project file. So if I click this button, it's opened over here. Let's drag it. You can see I have color correction and levels filters. Now, these are not done by default. The reason they're already done is because I'm using the project file that I use from time and time again. Of course, I probably should rename the project file to like YouTube videos or something, but but this is already built in. This is already done. That's why I use the same project file all the time, so I don't have to do this over and over again. So you can see there's some bits of color correction, like saturation. I believe it's the only change I actually made here. And then levels is, I set it to computer RGB to studio RGB. This makes it look washed out in the preview. I don't know if the recording is picking that up. But when it's actually rendered, it looks better than if I didn't do it at all. So that's that, really. And pretty much we're done in Vegas. So what I do is I highlight the whole timeline, go up to File, Render As, and then this as well. Oh, it's open on my other screen. Whoops. So as you can see, I have default settings already saved. Now, I've done this before, so these aren't done by default. So you can see I've got 1440p 30, 1440p 60, and then videos. Videos, this one is old. I can get rid of it. But these two are the main ones that I'm using. Now you might be wondering, you don't play your games in 1440p. You don't even record in 1440p. So why does it say 1440p? And if I go to template, you can clearly see width and height 2560 by 1440, which is 1440p. Now, the reason for it is because YouTube is a little bit meh when it comes to encoding 1080p. Like, you can lose so much quality by uploading just simply in 1080p. And the reason people upload in 1440p, even if they don't record in 1440p, is because YouTube uses a different encoder for 1440p videos. So they end up looking better, even though they're not 1080p. There is like detrimental effects to this. For example, the render's going to take longer. The file after the render is bigger, so it'll take longer to upload. But you do this just to make sure your quality doesn't suck, because I've had this many times uploading in 1080p. My quality of my content just completely dies. I'm talking about visual quality. So we're in the 1440p 30. Now this is the profile I'd use for the Vice City, because I play the game in 30 FPS. I've recorded the video also in 30 FPS, I believe. So I would use this, because there's no point uploading it in 60 FPS if it's not even 60 FPS. So 2560 by 1440, as I explained before. Frame rate, bang on 30. Bit rate, this is quite high, I believe, for what YouTube actually supports for 30 FPS, but I'd rather go higher than too low. So this is the same for 60 as well, because it's according to Google, it's high enough. Constant bitrate, I don't have variable. That's so the bitrate is the same all the way through the video, rather than fluctuating a lot and causing pixelation potentially. Encode mode, I render using CUDA if available. Now CUDA is on stuff for your graphics card. It has what's called CUDA cores, which can help encoding and various other things, but in this particular instance, all we're bothered about is encoding. So basically, it uses a portion of my... Oh, I thought someone walked in my room there. It uses a portion of my GPU to help speed up the render. So I have that, but mostly it's using my CPU. Audio, I leave the same the whole time. I mean, it's pretty fine. Check GPU, I always click this, but I don't think it's necessary. It just says CUDA is available, of course it is. Then video rendering quality, I click best, but I don't think it matters. So then I type in my title. So this was GTA Vice City Wilson Plays Nightmare Mod Preview. Oops. Preview. Something along those lines. I mean, I always title them as SEO optimized as possible. Now, what SEO is search engine optimization. It's really important for uploading videos. And it even matters to the point where your file names can influence it. So I always name it exactly what it is, rather than VC, WP, NM, PRE, yeah, something like that. I always name it correctly. And then I click render. I'm not going to click render because the recording might glitch out, because of course it's going to pretty much max out my system trying to render this video. And that will take anywhere between 25 and 30 minutes for a video of this length. Now, that's your typical video. I want to quickly demonstrate this, which is... we're not going to save that. I want to quickly demonstrate this, which is my Forza timeline. Now, this is for the Horizon Arcade is a Joke video. And as you can see, there's a lot more to this. There's a lot more cutting. There's a lot more... You can see these record take ones on the bottom timeline. I'm cutting out both of it but with my face, but you can see most of it. That's actually because the commentary was recorded post. That is the post commentary for it. You can see the text media is there. Let me just display it. There you go. And there as well. And then all the gameplay, audio stuff is there. So not every video will be as basic as that when it comes to editing, but for the most part, if it's just like a Nightmare mod episode, you know, where I'm just playing the game and talking, that's how it usually goes. So let's minimize Vegas, because we're done with it. I've showed you everything that I do with it. And let's go to Photoshop. So this is my current thumbnail template. Now, again, I'm all about automation. If I can make any process faster for me, I will. So, as you can see, this is the Saints Row thumbnail because it's the most recent one I made. You can see it's not very organized. You can see nearly 40 screenshots that I've used for thumbnails. So if I, like, let's say, turn off the Saints Row one and enable this one. This is the latest edition of Wilson Wednesdays. If I turn this off and turn this on, that's the Forza one. UIF, the most recent UIF. VC, Nightmare mod, etc. Again, automation. All I typically do is get the screenshot, and you can see the text is here, and then layer 1 is actually my WilsonPlays logo that you can see in the top left-hand corner of the screen. Now, just to explain how I usually make a thumbnail. So, I've become reliant on games having a photo mode because it is incredibly simple to get a really good photo for a thumbnail. But I also play a lot of older games that don't. So let's explain Saints Row. Why is this thumbnail not changed? Now, you might recognize this picture from a loading screen in the game. It is also the only loading screen I have access to right now because I'm doing a starter save. So I haven't advanced in the story. The loading screens change depending on where you are in the story. So I haven't been able to change this. That's why Saints Row 2 streams have the same background all the time. Because getting a screenshot in-game that looks decent for a thumbnail is so difficult in a game that looks as bad as Saints Row 2 and doesn't have any flexible camera options for me. So, of course, if I bring back this is Wilson Wednesdays. Euro Truck and American Truck both have photo modes, so I can actually go and get a half-decent screenshot to use as a thumbnail. Let's give you another example. This is actually artwork Dr. Super made for the mod. Big shout out to you, by the way. He's given me permission to use as a thumbnail, so he's clearly more talented than I am because he's somehow done this within Vice City. I wouldn't be able to, I'm not going to lie. And then San Andreas. There's a few ways I make a San Andreas thumbnail, okay? So, the typical way that I do it is by basically this. So this is an in-game screenshot, but I use Nvidia's tool to capture a 4K screenshot, as well as changing colors, sharpness, focus, that kind of thing. I don't use it all the time. I'm brand new to it. These are usually like bright yellow and glowy to basically take the piss of the definitive edition of the game. So it's a little bit of a meme. So that's how I do those. I'll show you a couple more examples. This one as well is in-game. And that one. Now, one way that I've differentiated... Okay, I found it. So this you'll recognize from my Christmas Eve stream announcement. This also looks like a in-game screenshot, right? And it is. But the way I've done it is actually... this is quite a cool story, actually. There is a vehicle in San Andreas that you normally can't access. The only way you can access it is through car spawners or that kind of thing. It's called the RC Cam. It's basically a flower pot that CJ can drive for some reason. And I don't know if this is true. This is something one of my favourite streamers, Joshua, said. They actually used that for promotional content, like when the game was being released, for like screenshots and stuff, because the RC Cam is this tiny vehicle. And if you go in first person, of course, it gives you a low down, completely unrestricted camera angle. So I think that's going to be the way I'm going to get screenshots for anything San Andreas related in the future. It's cool. It's a really cool idea. And this is how I got this one. Of course, there was other edits that went into this thumbnail, like this border and stuff like that, but it's following a similar style. So now that I have a thumbnail, now that I've rendered the video, I then go to YouTube. Okay, so I found the video. Of course, this is the original. I will obviously cancel this upload. But as you can see, you know, pretty self-explanatory. Title, description, all of this is filled in automatically. You can do that on your upload defaults section of your channel. Thumbnail, upload the thumbnail that we just made, hypothetically, of course. Do all this. There's nothing I really do here. Playlists, I've not been putting my videos in playlists for a while. Tags, you can see some recommended. I actually use a tool that Dibbles recommended to me, VidIQ, I believe it's called. Recommend it. You know, if you want a bit of help with tags. Video language, English, gaming, and then put the game title, of course, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And then next, monetization on, as per usual. So I always leave everything at default. I don't actually change anything manually. Ads, I always put this, light profanity. I believe that's accurate. YouTube seems to think it's accurate, so I always select that, submit rating. Of course, if you can't monetize your videos, then you don't have to deal with any of this. Elements, like cards and stuff, I'll add them if necessary. Like if I'm doing GTA 3 Nightmare mod, and I'm saying, oh, check out the previous episode, link in the top right. Wrong corner. Next, and then next again. And then, of course, I typically go schedule the time. So if I was releasing it today, the time is currently 4:13 p.m, 3rd of December. So I would usually go like 3rd of December, 6 p.m, click set as premiere. And then you guys get notified that a premiere is about to happen. And that's it. That's pretty much the process of how a WilsonPlays video ends up on your screens. Now, of course, what I didn't talk about is recording. Of course, I use OBS. I might make a separate video on the settings I use, but honestly, they're incredibly basic and they're not the end-all be-all, so it's probably not necessary. But of course, I sit there, record, talk, play the game for about 15 to 20 minutes, usually for like a regular Nightmare mod episode. And that's it. And then and then I do the process I've just shown you. So that's it. That is how a WilsonPlays video ends up on your screen. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, get subscribed. You should subscribe for this desktop background, by the way. Big shout out to my members. You know who you are, but your names are on the screen, as per usual. And guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video interesting, and I shall see you in the next one. Take care, guys.